Now we've got Scott Bauer from Prosper Trading Academy to take a look at a few that he's got his eye on. Scott's joining us from sunny Las Vegas. Welcome to the show, Scott. I feel like I should be asking you a sports question. What's going on down on the field? But let's just begin with Expedia because it looks like they're having some issues here today. Talk to us about what's going down with Expedia.
Yeah, I was going to say down is right. I mean, they really reported just a nightmare third quarter, Ben. They missed profit revenue estimates by wide margins and big downgrades coming in. And if you look back at the chart here, they're now, not only did they plunge below the 200-day moving average, but they're now trading near the low that we saw almost 3 years ago. So that's really going to be, from a technical perspective here, this level here, can it hold those lows? If it can't, you know, this stock could have another 15-20% to the downside here. They also, and on the heels of these just atrocious earnings, they also put out some weak guidance moving forward. So you look what happened there. You look what happened with TripAdvisor, and certainly with the old Priceline Booking.com coming out earnings after today. That thing is down huge, just in sympathy with Expedia right now.
Scott, what does this tell you? I mean, is this the consumer pulling back? Because that's one of the concerns that we've had in terms of some of the economic data. I mean, is this a leading indicator potentially, and some of those other numbers that we look at are lagging indicators?
Yeah, 100%, Ben, 100%. And we've talked about how during this entire, global economic turndown that we've seen, or slowdown that we've seen, that the consumer has been, really the big positive here. And like you said, this is bookings going out into the future. This could be a direct relation to that. So this is not good.
Yeah, another bit of information in terms of the health or well-being of the consumer. We also have Baidu today. Now, in some ways, Scott, this feeds right into the narrative. We've been seeing kind of mixed results. On one hand, concerns associated with the economic conditions, as we were just talking about in terms of Booking, Expedia, and some of the other names tied in on that weakness there. But Baidu up on the day here by 12.5%. What are you seeing in ticker symbol BIDU?
Yeah, they actually came out with better than expected revenue, better than expected earnings, so a slight increase from their quarter two revenues, which really surprised the street. And that's really on, in the face of China's economy really slowing down and growing really at its slowest pace in the last 30 years. So the concern there, and these were really good metrics, the concern there is what may happen moving forward with their ad revenue. And are Chinese companies going to be spending money on that ad revenue if they continue to see this downturn? However, the street likes it today.
All right, Scott, let's move on. We got one more earnings preview. Talk to me in terms of ATVI, Activision Blizzard. Looks like they're looking for EPS to come in around 23 cents a share on revenue of $1.17 billion. What are you looking for?
Yep. So here's one that's been beat up, but I really like it. I really like it for a couple reasons. First of all, just a couple months ago, from a technical standpoint, if you look at the charts here, Ben, you'll see that the 50-day actually moved up above the 200-day. So that golden cross, thing that traders look at. And the 50-day average just held a short while ago as some support. So I really like that from a technical standpoint. Also, a couple months ago, we saw the big drop in Activision, and there was a gap at around $61 or $62. Any sort of positive news here, and this stock might be a magnet back up to that area there. Things have not been so great. The company had actually lowered guidance on their last report. That's probably factored in here. And, what they have going for them right now is the new release of Call of Duty. I've never played it, but my kids go nuts on it. And in the first 3 days of sales here, gangbusters with, I think, $600 or $700 million worth of revenues from that. So they're going to have that. They're going to have the outlook on that. And then, they also have a couple of other initiatives here. From a technical standpoint, I really like the upside of this thing.
Yeah, I can see why, Scott. Talk to us about what would change that, though, in terms of potential movement to the downside, because there's two sides to every coin. I'm just curious. Sure. Obviously, looking for a breakout above 57.50, but at what point would that, if we see some downside momentum, would that be concerning to you, technically?
From a technical standpoint, if this thing broke down, and actually not far from here, down below that 50-day moving average, which is around 54 and a quarter or so on really heavy volume, that would concern me. So not a lot of margin for error to the downside here, but it does have some nice positive momentum here ever since it broke across that golden cross just a couple months ago.
All right, yeah, I've got the 50-day moving average on the chart here right now. We can see that they're definitely testing it, Scott. This gives us a couple good levels to watch, and really appreciate it here. A great breakdown in terms of a few names that we should keep an eye on. Expedia, Baidu, kind of a little bit of conflicting news there, but maybe Activision can kind of turn some of those question marks into or straighten them out for us a little bit. Scott, really appreciate you joining us here on Midday Movers for a look at a few names that Scott Bauer's got his eye on. He's the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. We're going to take a quick break.